Sai Ram. Sai Ram. No, he's just a mic test, Sai Ram.
There's a car in front of me today. Number plate was Sai 786.
Sai Ram.
Maybe a combination.
Sai Ram. No, he's just a mic test, Sai Ram.
You can leave the pillow there. There is somebody's bag below the thing. No, that is table.
He will keep it in the bag.
There's a car in front of me today. Number plate was Sai 786.
Sai Ram.
Combination.
Sai Ram. No, just a mic test, Sai Ram.
You can leave the pillow there.
These mics.
There is somebody's bag below the thing. No, that is table.
He will keep it in the bag.
There's a car in front of me today. Number plate was Sai 786.
Sai Ram.
Combination.
Sai Ram. No, just a mic test, Sai Ram.
You can leave the pillow there.
These mics.
There is somebody's bag below the thing. No, that is table.
He will keep it in the bag.
There's a car in front of me today. Number plate was Sai 786.
Sai Ram.
Combination.
Sai Ram. No, just a mic test, Sai Ram.
You can leave the pillow there.
These mics.
There is somebody's bag below the thing. No, that is table.
He will keep it in the bag.
There's a car in front of me today. Number plate was Sai 786.
Sai Ram.
Combination.
Sai Ram. No, just a mic test, Sai Ram.
You can leave the pillow there.
These mics.
There is somebody's bag below the thing. No, that is table.
He will keep it in the bag.
There's a car in front of me today. Number plate was Sai 786.
Sai Ram.
Combination.
Sai Ram. No, just a mic test, Sai Ram.
You can leave the pillow there.
These mics.
There is somebody's bag below the thing. No, that is table.
He will keep it in the bag.
There's a car in front of me today. Number plate was Sai 786.
Sai Ram.
Combination.
Sai Ram. No, just a mic test, Sai Ram.
You can leave the pillow there.
These mics.
There is somebody's bag below the thing. No, that is table.
He will keep it in the bag.
There's a car in front of me today. Number plate was Sai 786.
Sai Ram.
Combination.
Sai Ram. No, just a mic test, Sai Ram.
You can leave the pillow there.
These mics.
There is somebody's bag below the thing. No, that is table.
He will keep it in the bag.
There's a car in front of me today. Number plate was Sai 786.
Sai Ram.
Combination.
Sai Ram. No, just a mic test, Sai Ram.
You can leave the pillow there.
These mics.
There is somebody's bag below the thing. No, that is table.
A prayer to Swami. Dear Swami, we are so grateful to be able to meet here together in your presence today. While we are here together studying your word in your Bhagavata Vahini, we ask that you open our ears and hearts to whatever it is you want us to learn. Please speak through each one of us and help us progress in our spiritual journey. Jai Sai Ram. Sai Ram, everyone. Just a little reminder to mute your cell phones. Let's be respectful. Let's ask the questions that arise, and let's be mindful of the time as well as the topic that's under discussion today. So let's try to leave our egos outside of this bhajan hall and this discussion that will help us to learn faster and get closer to Swami. So, just a little review. We had a great session last week. We were talking, we listened to chapter 16, and then we talked, we actually focused on gratitude first, based off of Krishna's actions that of washing the priest's feet and how he showed humility and how he honored the role and was respectful. We moved along and we did watch a video with Geeta Mohan Ram talking about how Swami showed his gratitude or was grateful for the service of one of his devotees for making garlands. And it was an interesting session, and it was very light to listen to, and with a sense of humor and a great story. So with that, we moved along to talk about the lessons we learned from Swami's action and how ego impacts our understanding of being grateful, and a little snippet on how Krishna chose this job of honoring the priests by washing their feet. And then we talked about the importance of surrendering, and with examples like Ratan Tata, we talked about being grateful is a great virtue. And then in our own center, we did talk about how Dayanandji and Raviji has set the examples for service with humility and surrender. So if anyone else has anything to add, this would be a great time. All right. So today we will continue with our chapter 16. The second topic that the chapter brings out from Parikshit's, the way he ruled his kingdom is one, reverence towards his elders and to Krishna, and a lot of faith that he brings in his leadership towards his grandparents, towards Lord Krishna, and also towards the way he actually leads the kingdom with everyone, treating everyone as equal. So again, I just wanted to go back and kickstart our discussion with faith. And this is a quote from Swami. And before then, I actually wanted Umaji to read the prayer that she had on faith. About faith. You had we can do Swami's quote and then go back to the prayer if you want. Yeah, that's fine then. So Swami has talked about faith and the importance of it. I don't see Om here, so I will go ahead and start reading. It's a little long, but please give me a minute. This is not. First and foremost, develop faith. There can be no life without faith. Sometimes faith is also termed self. Without self, you cannot help others. Only when there is faith can you achieve anything in life. Even now, there are several people who have progressed in life with firm faith in Jesus. Some people develop faith when their desires are fulfilled. If their desires are not fulfilled, they lose faith. This type of attitude is not good. Keep your faith firm, irrespective of whether your desires are fulfilled. Preserve your faith carefully. Faith can work wonders. It can make a blind person see, a dumb speak, Do not at all doubt the power of faith. Some incidents happening in this world may shake your faith in God, but if you hold on to your faith firmly, you can boldly face any situation. Even now, some people consider this body as an ordinary man. If that were to be so, how could all these superhuman tasks be achieved? No, no, it's a mistake to think so. This body may appear to be a mere physical entity to you. It is the fault of your own vision, not mine. There is something wrong in your perception. It is a mistake of your vision, not mine. Hence, correct your vision. Develop right perception. If you are all right, I will be all right. You are all in me. This is the fundamental truth. I'm getting some things done, making you as my instruments. For I require some instruments to carry on my mission. Hence, I'm molding you as those instruments. By imparting education, knowledge, and wisdom, I am developing you all as my instruments. Hence, may you all lead purposeful lives with firm faith in God. You think that education and academic degrees have helped you to come up in life. This view is not at all correct. How many educated people are there in this world? Of what use are they to this world? In fact, the world is not benefited by the educated class. More harm is done to the world than good by such people. More than education, the spiritual life will protect a person in every way. Devoid of spiritual outlook, all your education and academic degrees are a mere waste. Their value is zero. Hence, fill your lives with devotion to God and develop the outlook I am not this body. This is a vesture taken upon by me. There is God inside who is conducting my life. God is in you, with you, around you, above you, below you. Develop full faith in divinity. Then you can achieve anything in life. You are like fully ripened fruits. But the fruits must contain sweet juice. Without that sweet juice, it cannot be a fruit. You must all have the sweet juice of love. If there is no sweet juice, people will just bite the fruit and throw it away. Hence, fill your hearts with the sweet juice of love. Whatever be the name and form, develop faith in God. God has many names, but God is only one. The ornaments may be many, but gold is one. Do not lose sight of the gold. Without gold, you cannot make ornaments. Develop faith as your foremost quality, irrespective of whether it brings you the desired results. Add love to that faith. I am you and you are me. I and you are one. Ekoham bahushyam. Whoever realizes that oneness achieves total bliss. Every student should develop faith in God. I am sure that students have joined this institution not merely for acquiring education and academic degrees. They came here to learn Swami's teachings. If you follow the teachings with firm faith in Swami, you will achieve success in all your endeavors. You should have faith in Swami's teachings, love them, adore them, and follow them. Okay. When you do bhajan, you experience peace and happiness. Hence, constantly do namasmarana in your heart. You may not be able to do japa, dhyana, or yoga, but do namasmarana. There is no easier path than namasmarana to be in communion with God. Children, adults, or elderly people all can do it. Hence, continue to do namasmarana throughout your life. You may study and acquire degrees, but do bhajan also. Do not consider Jesus as an ordinary mortal. See God in him. You often refer to someone and say he is a man or she is a lady. No, no, this is not the correct way of identification. Gents or ladies, all are one. Be alike to everyone. Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita declared, the eternal Atma in all beings is a part of my being. You are all parts of me. I and you are one. You are not different from me. I am in you, with you, above you, below you, and around you. Develop that spirit of oneness and lead your life. I hope I've made myself clear. The moment you go to your places, do not think that Swami is there while I am here. Always develop the feeling He is with me, in me, around me, above me, and below me. All are one. So, Sairam, this is Swami's discourse on faith. And it goes on, but I have stopped it here because I think the message of faith is come through with many different points here. So a few discussion questions that just something I thought we could start with is, in what ways does strong faith in God help individuals like us cope with and overcome life's challenges? How might this belief system provide comfort or guidance during difficult times? They are so. These are just some things, and I think we can start with how strong faith can help us, or maybe define what faith is. Because I think, yeah, I think that's where we should start on what is faith.
Believing in yourself and believing in what you do. Faith is believing in God and everything.
I'm just reminded of one of the things that Sarvapyananda always says. So you're going and to a class to learn physics, and you have a physics teacher. First of all, you have to believe that what he is talking is true, that it's physics. So we must be willing to accept that. And you don't go to an English teacher and learn physics. Then, so that's where the doubt comes, right? So um, that is, to me, the first part of faith that, let me put a sincere effort, what that is, whatever you are learning.
Saira. Yes, go ahead. Hi.
So when it comes to faith, especially when faith to the God, when you want to believe God or have faith in God, the first thing you have to eradicate is questions. As Shankaranji said, when you're learning physics, you don't ask your professor if he says E is equal to mc square, you believe that. And you go there and ask him, why is E is equal to mc square? There might be a theory, but if you want to prove it wrong, it's not going to happen. The same way, when God or any guru or you're having faith in those people, you have to maintain the same thing, which helps. In there is a question there: in what way does a strong faith in God help? The simple point is, strong faith in God in difficult times helps you to take own decisions. When you are in a difficult times or when you are in a struggling situation, your mind or your heart tends to ripple here and there. You don't know what to do, you don't know whom to consult. You go to several people and collect several suggestions, and you got 100 suggestions, you'll get confused and you don't know what to do, and there will be no proper solution. But when you have faith in God, that is why Swami said faith is self. So when you have faith in God, your self decision or self improvement can dominate the outer world or outer circumstances that are happening against you. So yeah, strong faith, the first point, helps in taking the own decisions from self. Yes.
Sairam?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tagore says, faith is a bird that feels the light when the dawn is still dark. The birds, they know the light is going to come, they start singing. Another one is with the bird analogy, there are a couple of them, like Victor Hugo, who said, the bird sitting on the frail branch and feeling the twig moving under her, but she sings happily. I'm just paraphrasing. So she sings happily, knowing that she has her wings. So the wings are the faith. Even Swami has this comparison with the bird. He says the tree is swaying, and the little bird is sitting in the small twig. But the bird is not worried. Okay, the wind is very strong, and the bird knows that it has his wings. Okay, so it is not depending on the twigs or the branch or the mighty tree. The same way, he says in one of his discourses, we have to develop the wings of faith. So don't depend on, like the bird on the twigs, don't depend on your pride, your power, your wealth, your education, none of those. Just to develop the wings of the faith and then depend on God, His glory, His name, His love. Like Swami was saying there, right? He is in everything. So if we believe and have that faith, that will help you to fly away and we can face all the storms. With personal experience also, I'm sure we have all gone through difficult times. What is getting us get through that? For me, it was the faith. I don't know the solution. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, going through tough time. Just something makes you cling. The faith deepens, it should. Because you don't know any answers. You don't know what is going to come up. And only hope that we have is the faith that gives a lot of comfort, like an old blanket on a cold day. It keeps you warm. That feeling is so rich that you feel there is something above my control that will take care of me. That's very important.
Sairam, I would also say, like Swami also said, right, where there is faith, there is no fear. So fearlessness is also faith. It just makes you courageous. If there is fear in your heart, you cannot have faith at the same time. And that's where usually in life, when you have difficulties, doubts, it also means having no doubts at all in about God. Because a lot of times what happens is in the material world, in situations, you see other people do stuff and get forward in life, get the riches, and suddenly you are here, you start believing, oh, I'm doing all these good things I believe in, but nothing is happening to me. So with that doubt, nothing will ever happen to you. So being completely fearless is very important. In fact, Swami Vivekananda stressed on that. Even Bhagavad Gita stresses the first thing that Krishna says to Arjuna is leave your fear. That's the
Right.
first thing he says. So leave that fear, then everything will fall into place. You will have complete faith.
Anyone? Jay Bhai, can you increase the volume for the green mic, please? Thank you.
So adding to what Shavaji mentioned, leave the fear. I, I, I would say it little differently. Having faith will leave the fear. If you have faith, faith and fear cannot live together. So how to leave fear is to develop faith. Fear will automatically go away. And what Umaji mentioned about the bird example, I mean, we used to read the other analogy of birds. They eat and then fly away. They don't collect the food for their grandkids. That's a full faith in Almighty. It's written in so many scriptures. Have faith like a bird. He believes the God has given me food today, he'll give me tomorrow also. They don't collect for their grandkids.
Yeah, that is purely a human trait. So let's move on to the next one. So the passage suggests that academic achievements and material success are of little value, right? Why does Swami say that? How can we balance that out? Obviously, we do have our worldly goals that we need, but how can we balance that? We have talked about this before too, but that is so important when we talk about faith, because we do need to find the balance between what we do in our daily lives and where we want to go spiritually. So, what practical steps?
Sairam. See, no matter how much degree or educational qualifications you acquire, on a day-to-day basis, you know very well that that doesn't mean anything, because the success or what you do at work or at home does not depend on the qualifications that you have, because most of the times you just acquire some skills because of your qualifications or your whatever you've been doing, and then you employ those skills. And when you employ those skills, it doesn't mean that it will always succeed, because if the education qualifications is so important, then if everybody is going to succeed because of the qualifications, then there won't be anybody at the thing without qualifications. So that's not true at all. We all know that, because education qualifications only take you to some extent, and that is only for your worldly life, and your peace or your peace of mind or whatever is not dependent on that at all. So I think the faith is the only one that can help you bring peace in your life. Otherwise, you're going to be always fluctuating with fear or sorrow, sadness, and you'll be just oscillating with that, or joy. Sometimes, if it succeeds, then you'll be extremely joyful. Next time, when you fail, then you'll be extremely sorrow about it. So you will be just going up and down.
Yeah, but it is important for the faith to develop to that level. Okay, so not everyone, I mean, I don't know of everyone, but definitely with time, faith develops. It's not, I mean, unless you're Prahalada who knew from the get go. I don't think, faith is not uh, something that most of us are born with. I mean, maybe we are and we don't recognize it. Yeah, please go ahead.
In a way, when you're a child, you have complete faith in your parents, your mom. You don't even, even if she's like dangling you with the foot, you wouldn't think it's dangerous. What I mean is, you are born with faith. Your faith is placed in your parents that you know immediately. As you grow older, it shifts to God because then your mind is opening up to God. Then you shift it completely to God once you get that realization. I think that's how I look at it. And the worldly achievements and spirituality don't have to be opposite things. We can definitely go after worldly successes, achievements in a dharmic way. I think we talked about it many times. Vedas say the same thing. Baba says the same thing, because we do need to live, eat, provide for people who depend on us. And there is nothing wrong to aspire for all these things, but don't be attached to them. That is the second part of it. Okay. First, do it in a dharmic
Yes.
way. Second, when you acquire them, don't be so attached to them that you'll be afraid to leave them. So be ready to, like, as they come, they will go also. And we know that because this is a short journey. Nobody is here forever. And we know that, but we don't remind ourselves of that. When you remind of yourselves of that, then it will become easier to get that vairagya or the detachment or the dispassion towards these things. So I don't think they necessarily are competing or opposite things, that they can go together at all.
Yeah.
No.
In fact, that has developed over time. As a child, we have full faith in mother, and whatever mother says is good, is perfectly. As we develop these things have, like Bhavanji's question is so correct. With all these academic achievements, we tend to go away from the original faith and original spiritual alignment we had in the early childhood. And by doing your duty as a yagna, that's what Krishna said in chapter 3, do all your duties as a yagna and offer it to God. That can maintain the balance. If you, I mean, all other things will be just a waste if it is not spiritually aligned. So do all your duties as yagna, offer it to Lord, uh, along with whatever else you are doing is perfectly fine.
Yeah, but I think nurturing that faith is very important because it gets lost in the way. I don't know how else to put it.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to add to Bhavaniji's question. That's what happened. Our priorities have changed from the early childhood. We never talked about all these things early enough. At this entering the old age, we are learning these things. That is the biggest paradox. It should have been inculcated early in our schooling, in our education. We were taught to become an engineer, doctor, this. We never were taught all these things. So if we can learn it now, we could have learned it earlier also and developed it in that level. And that would be a good merge of our academic and spiritual.
I think that's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
ideal, but yeah, please.
So actually, in our Now, in our Indian way of teaching, when a child starts that age of writing and learning, it is called Akshara Abhyasa. Akshara is also a letter. Akshara also means that which doesn't get destroyed, right? Akshara. You're learning that Abhyasa. It starts with that. Om. That's what the child is learning. Then he learns all the ABCDs and everything. What are we teaching there with that value? You're teaching the real education first. Concomitantly, later on, because of we have to live, we went into all these Western ways of learning. We're learning those for, for our support ourselves financially, whatever. That's fine. But we should not put the our Hindu Vedic teachings aside. I think it will be a good thing to include that in our children. Educate them. It is our duty as parents. Unfortunately, like Manoj said, I have not learned it. But now I'm trying to learn. And it's not too late. I think whenever you get that realization, start there at least. But whoever has young kids, try to, teach them when they're young.
See, we have no problem placing the faith in people. Well, like you go for a haircut and you are very sure he's not going to chop off your head. Only the hair is going to be cut. And we get on a plane, full faith on the pilot or a train. When it comes to God, we have a lot of questions. How do I trust? Is there a God? What is the faith? Why he is not here when I need him, so I don't have God. So God is dismissed. So how do we develop faith? The faith, I would say, is like a tender plant. When you plant a small seedling, what do? You nurture it, you water it, you protect it, you put a fence around it so the animals or other things don't come and eat it until it grows. And then it grows as a tree. You can sit under the tree. You can eat the fruits. It gives you support. When the time of need, the tree is there, protect you from the sun. So that is how the faith is like. When you have some faith, you attend to it. You tender to the faith that there are naysayers who will come, say, oh, do you believe in him? He's a fake or whatever about your Guruji, about the God, whatever. But you hold on to it. You nurture your faith. Don't, listen to the other things, the negative things. That's very, very important. When I came to Sai Fold many, many years ago, I had a group of friends who didn't believe in him. They would say all the negative things I have never heard of before, but now I know because they are telling me. And I didn't know it is true or not, to be honest, because I was not that educated in that. I didn't know much about Baba. But then, I have mentioned this before. Venkatji gave me a small picture of Swami. I never had a picture at my house. That was very dear to me. I still have that picture. So when the friends come, I would hide it. I didn't want to listen to the criticism. I was not strong enough to argue with them. Swami doesn't need my support. But as an intellectual, I have to say something, right? I was ignorant. So at that time, I would do that. I would take the picture away. It was in the kitchen. After they go, I'll take it out. I say, Swami, I'm so sorry. I'm doing this to you. But then years passed. I had bhajans at our house and other things. The same people came, sat in the bhajan. I had no shame, nothing to fear, nothing to hide, because my faith grew. See? So these things, we are very vulnerable when we get into anything to believe, either God or other things. We have to protect our faith, like protecting your life. That really helps.
Saira. So faith is not having second option. You do not have ifs and buts. So the question comes, why we don't have the same faith in God, right? It's a very difficult question. The reason is we always anticipate something. We do something, we write exam, we always want to pass. And if there is a failure, we are not ready to take that one. So we start negotiating with the God. Oh God, if I pass this exam, I will cut my hair. I'll come to your, hill and cut my hair. We always negotiate with, because we are not ready to take the second option here. That is the reason why we have 50-50 chances taking, like, oh, God, if I do it, you have to give this me. That is a negotiation. So if you are ready to take that second option as is, that it is given by Him, that's the faith.
That I think a lot of surrender comes through that. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think the definition that Dhananjay mentioned is the total unconditional faith. And most of us are not there. Okay, that unconditional faith comes with, as you said, when that tree, when it becomes a tree, probably that's when you will have that total unconditional faith. Till that time, it will be conditional. So if everything goes as per our wish, we will have complete faith. We will be extremely, oh, he is the greatest. The moment something goes opposite, then we say, oh, where are you? Are you listening? Okay, that question itself is question of the faith. Okay, not having the total faith. Are you listening to me? I'm going through this trouble. Are you there? So that question will keep coming. So
yeah, but to your point, if you really ask that question, Sairam, my experience is you will get it. He always answers. But you have to have that faith. When you ask also, it is with that command of the fact that I thought you're going to protect me. What happened? But something does it, that questioning also comes only with faith.
yeah, with faith, if you question, that's a different thing. But if you are if you're going to question with lesser faith because of something that's happening, then that's not good. So then that is conditional faith. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have total faith, then you know that the trouble that you're undergoing is for your good. Okay, that is accepted. First of all, the trouble you are going through cannot be changed. You are already going through that trouble. That situation cannot change. Only your mental status can change. So either you can suffer because of the troubles that you're going through, and that can happen when you don't have faith, or you can start questioning, and that questioning will come because of not having the total unconditional faith. If you have the total unconditional faith, then that is for my good. It's not just that trouble is something that is bothering me, it's for my good, it's for my benefit. The benefit will show up later. You don't know at that time. So I think that's why Kunti asked for more and more troubles.
You remember the footprints that
in the sand?
Yeah, footprints in the sand. It's a great example of this person praying to God, and God say, I will be with you, son. And there are two sets of prints, and after some time in the sand, only one set of print. He is asking God, where are you? You left me. I see only one set of prints. He said, my son, I'm carrying you. So we may feel that God is not there, left us behind. But as you said, it is only if you have the faith, only we can say, or you surrender, that God is with me even now, when everything seems so gloom and dark. Unless we have the faith, people get into despair, right? So that is where the faith is very important. Like the tree I said, when the trouble comes, when you have the faith as the tree, that will shelter you. No matter what, you can take comfort in that belief.
That is why Baba has mentioned the theory of oneness. I'm not, initial stage is, we are two, you are asking me, I am giving you. I am provider, you are asking me. Come to that level, he has mentioned in the previous page, come to that level of that oneness. You, me, we are not different. It's not around, it is worded, needs to be worded like that. I'm around, up, down, here, there, inside, outside. So it's all me. Have that faith of that oneness. If we think deeply from medical point of view also, what exactly is this doing? This is just changing your psyche game. What else? It's just psyche game. Having faith is stimulating up there in that center to keep you emotionally stable, making a wise, those decisions, whatever you do in those moments, are already there. We just have to click on the right button. we just have to take that right decision. When your mind is stable with that faith, you tend to think wisely, you tend to make right decisions. That's how the psyche works. The faith, it stabilizes you. Unbiased decision, unprovoked decisions, sensible decisions. Otherwise, when you get impatient, it's always in a rush you tend to make a wrong decision. So faith is kind of stabilizing you, settling your brains to the actual decision.
I want to
Yes, please go
just
ahead.
add something to what Venkat said. So I'm going to just narrate the story. So there was this farmer who went to God and he said, why is it that you always give me the rain at the wrong time or the wind at the wrong time? I'm ready to, get the harvest done. You just produce heavy rain. All my crops are lost. When I really needed it, you didn't give me the rain, and the plants are not growing very well. So God said, okay, uh, I'll give you that wish. So whenever you want, at the right time you think it's the right time, I'll give you. So he's went back, put the seeds in, and the plants came. And the water came at the right time. The rains came right time. Everything grew beautiful. And then they grew into this flowers, and then finally uh, the plants, the fruit came out. Then he was ready to harvest. Beautiful looking thing. He touches it and it crumbles, and the juice just drops because it didn't doesn't have any strength to hold all of them. And then he says, what is this? My grains are not even hard enough to for me to use them, make a flour or anything like that. And everything is falling apart. So he runs back to God and he said, you wanted this beautiful thing, everything I gave you on right time, and then now what are you complaining about? And he said, I don't know what to do. None of them are useful. So that's what he said. All the troubles and things that we go through or have to be looked at as gifts because they are actually helping you to get strong, and you need them for eventual strength. And so I think that is the faith, that this is good for you, you're talking about.
Yeah, Sairam, thank you. That is the SSC lesson that we go through with faith, with Swami carrying that is the faith that we talk about. So
Yeah,
it,
SSC
this
has
is
a lot more like,
yeah,
you have king,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And Sairam, just to expand on Manoj's this on the oneness. So Swami usually asks when a group goes, he asks how many, and then people will say 100. Then he will say 100. So am I not in each one? Then oh, what about me? Then they'll say 101. Then it's oh 101. Am I not in each one of you? Then is it 200? Oh, then it'll say, oh, am I different in each one of you?
Yeah.
Then they will say it's one. So the firm faith is to see that oneness. So that if we have that oneness, then I mean the faith that we have to have is to see that divinity in everything. And whatever happens, I mean, it's not just on the physical things, it can be on whatever challenges, that is also divine. So, whatever mental status, that is also divine. So, mind and body both are, everything is divine. So, in that case, nothing can be wrong. Everything has to be right.
Sairam, yes. So that's a good segue into the third one that I was just talking about. Sorry. Um, how does that oneness, embracing that concept, influence our relationships and interactions in society? I think we touched upon it before. We did. This was just a question to kind of go back and just review that. What challenges might arise when we are trying to live out this ideal in a diverse world? And I think my question always goes back to the current political scenario, so I'm not going to ask that question. But basically, seeing the oneness is not an easy task unless you have the faith. So faith is important to even see that oneness, that somehow we are all divine beings.
Okay, so yes, there is divinity in all of us. But are we all at the same divine pure level? Purity is not there. That's different. Purity and divinity,
Go hand in hand.
Unity, purity, divinity.
That's why Baba says, why do we have to, if you're so pure, what is there for us, for him to teach us anymore?
Right.
We will be like him, right?
Yeah.
But we are not. So he's telling us, get yourself pure, get the impurity. So be careful. Everybody is not divine. I mean, there is divinity in them, but they have covered it up with all the bad karmas and bad behaviors. And so, and we may have some, they may have some, but if you're in that path of cleaning yourself up and getting into that spiritual path, don't get close to people who are not there. It will only burn you. It will get you derailed. That's when the doubts come. You start behaving badly as well. So it's very important to, yeah. Even in so many of our scriptures, there's so many stories, right? Duryodhana's story, he's like someone tries to preach him one time in the Mahabharata book. They say, Duryodhana, why do you do this? If you have to behave well, you get punyam from all this. He says, I know all that, but I still like doing bad things.
Yeah, I
So
cannot
some
stop
people,
myself.
you cannot be, even Bhishma, I think one time I told that on the Ampasaina, when he's giving the uh, teaching all the good things, how to live good stuff, the Draupadi will ask, how come you're telling now, but at the time when they're insulting me and you didn't say anything, you were right there, sitting right there. And then Bhishma says, I was in the bad company, my mind was not working right. So be careful. It is important to be careful. And
I don't know about that, but there are so many were there. All the acharyas were there in the sabha, so none of them. Yeah. None of them stopped.
There's I mean, it's not a matter of criticizing, but uh, people think on that topic. Whenever we take a shapath also, one has to be sensible. He made this shapath of bound to the throne. That was thought not to be very wise of him, because of that binding, he watched all his granddaughter getting insulted in the court and all that things. He could have easily walked away. He could have easily, done that. So, but he kind of bound himself too much. So whenever we're taking these idealistic things also, be mindful of those things.
Yeah, where
there is
you
a
draw the
story
line.
for that. Funny story. One they give to prove that point. Be careful about what you're picking up. Also, right? There is this son-in-law who takes the shapath one time. Oh, I should never say no to anything. I should say yes to everyone and be kind and be nice. And so he goes to the mother-in-law and father-in-law's first for the first Sankranti they call, right, newly married, they call, and then they start at lunchtime, they start offering. The mother-in-law is putting, and he already made shapath, I'm not going to say no. She's putting, he's eating, he's putting, he's eating, and the mother-in-law is like, oh my God, he must be very hungry. The more and more he had to collapse at the end because of his own shapath. So like he said, be careful.
The benefit of all this, what Bhavaniji's original question was, the how do we it influence our this oneness will influence our relationships in the interaction the society is. The only benefit would be we'll not get overly angry, we'll not get overly egoistic, we'll not get overly against people. Like while eating, we a lot of times our tongue cuts our tongue, but we don't break our teeth away. So that, because it's a part of our body. So in the society also, as Shobhaji mentioned, we have to be careful, sensible, whom to interact, how to interact, but still there would be a lot of wrong things might happen. So tolerance will come with that oneness. Will not be against people. We'll try to tolerate as much as possible and still try to find a solution of it.
Sairam.
Anything to add? Yeah.
Yeah. See, the thing is, if we can, uh, accept that whatever happens is a divine drama, we are all playing the roles. So if in a movie, a villain happens to be extremely nice to everybody, he's not a villain.
Yes.
That story is not conveyed. A hero has to be a person who does all the right things. A villain has to be a person who does the wrong things. So if there had not been any Duryodhana in Mahabharata, the Pandavas,
Cannot shine.
they wouldn't have shown. Then there is no story. So in the whole life, everything is a drama. If we imagine, if we can visualize that, then also that faith will be there. I mean, we will have the complete faith.
Yeah. So I just wanted to go to the last question on this one. I wanted to bring it around to devotional practices. You know, how Swami says Namasmarana, which is taking the divine name. So devotional practices like bhajan, Namasmarana, meditation are highlighted by Swami even in this one for deepening faith. So how do these practices, contribute to developing this resilient faith in God that we are talking about?
I can only see otherwise the mind. This is the mind. Mind is going to be, it's a monkey mind. It'll be comparing with and then bringing all kinds of things that can cause a rift or a decrease in your faith, can affect your faith. So in order to, put a shield over your mind, these things help. Namasmarana and bhajans and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, all these, Namasmarana, meditation, bhajan, they are all good for us to control the mind like a mahut control the big elephant with one, stick in his hand. That is the, like that we have to have these kind of practices to keep us in the right path. So about the faith, how it,
Yes.
resilient faith in God. There is a story, it's a funny one, that Narada is going around the world spreading God's glory, one of the Narada story. He comes, there is a man sitting under a banyan tree meditating. And that man happened to open his eyes, sees Narada standing in front of him. And then he prostrates and says, "Oh, Narada, please, will you see God in Vaikuntha? Are you going there?" And he says, "Yes, yes, I am going there." Then this man says, "Will you please tell Lord Narayana to let me also come there? Will he come to me before I go there? Will he give me darshan?" Narada says, "Of course, I will go and tell him." So Narada goes to Vaikuntha, and Lord Vishnu asks what is happening on earth. And he says, "There is one devotee meditating. He wants to see you. So will you give him darshan?" And then Lord says, "Yes, I will see him, but until he takes all the birth in his life, not this life, but how many leaves are there in the tree, that many births he has to take. Then only I will give him darshan." So then Narada was so frustrated. He said, "Oh, that's not fair." But he comes down and comes to the man and he tells him, "Oh, fool, why do you have to sit under this tree with so many leaves? Why can't you sit somewhere else?" And the man says, "Why? What happened? Is God coming?" "Yes, yes, he is coming, but not now. Look at all the leaves. You have to take that many births. Then only he is going to come and see." And then this man was so happy. He started jumping up and down. He was in ecstasy. He was in bliss. "Oh, God is going to come and see me." He doesn't mind all the births. Suddenly, Lord Narayana, he shows up. He comes and he gives him darshan. Then Narada was very upset, it seems. "What is this? I just told him you are not going to come and you are showing up. Your word doesn't have any meaning." But Lord says, "Look at this man. He didn't mind even that many births. He is willing to take to see me." That is the faith. To honor his faith, I cannot resist. I showed up. Yeah. So if we have such faith, nothing is impossible. Anything can happen. But we have to have the pure faith in our heart.
Very nice story. Thank you, Saira.
I just want to go a little deeper into that same story. So what exactly happened? Let's look at the psychology of it. So with that faith, he felt, so that hope comes. Hope is the biggest thing. Hope gives that bliss inside always. And that bliss itself is God.
Yes.
And that's what God appeared means. That bliss came with that hope. So that's how it is related. It's all, inside. It just has to show up. So that Narayana just showed up, that bliss came out. That's all.
Yes, Saira. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, Sairam, I'm not sure what other pathways are there that deepens faith. So I have faith in whoever has come up with these devotional practices that increases my faith.
Yeah, Saira. Thank you.
Sai Ram, so since you're on story time, I am reading a book. Okay. I am reading a book by one of the Swami, autobiography of a Swami, something very similar to Yogananda, but this is Swami Rama. I don't know if you have heard of him. So he is actually, he doesn't describe who that guru is, but he's a one Baba in the Himalayas. He grew
Okay.
up in the Himalayas, and the guru, he's very young. I mean, he started at a very young age, and somewhere in his teen years, his guru will say, go to this place. You have to spend, one of the incidents. He says, go to this place. It's actually a cemetery. And he says, you go there and you meditate for 28 days. And then, you come. So this guy goes, strictly follows the thing. He keeps, doing that. Nothing is happening. He said, I don't know what the purpose is. Every day I'm doing this, waking up and nothing to see, nothing, absolutely no action there, and keeps on going like that. 26 days pass, and on the 26th day night, he feels, I don't really know. 2 more days are left, but I don't see anything happening. So he said, no, I'm going to give up. So he actually lights up a fire there and then keeps himself, uh, going. And so he makes a small thatch. He burns the thatch. He then puts out the fire with pours a pot of water on it and walks away. Then he hears this. There's a village nearby, and he hears this beautiful music, and he kind of listens to the music and looks at the words. The words say, the you know the I don't have enough oil for this light to be burnt, for this wick to be burnt, but the night is long. So that is the meaning of the song. It kind of touches him. So he wants to know who is that person who is singing the song, and in a very beautiful voice. And he goes there, he finds a very beautiful woman, and she says, don't come here. This is not your place. You should not come here. You are a Swami. You should not come here. And this guy is, no, he wants to see her. He wants to just thank her because, for listening, singing that song in such a beautiful voice. And then, she has a bodyguard like a guy. So that guy comes and of course, he does not want to use any force. Swami, you should not be going here. It's not your place. She's actually a prostitute. You should not come here. And so, he tries to push him. He says, no, I have to see her. I have to thank her. And then, so he goes to her. He says, I had a doubt all this time. I was doing this. My guru asked me to do this, and I was giving up, and I was coming to this village, and I heard your voice. That has changed my mind. But I want to thank you before I go. So this girl sees him and says, how much faith you have in your Swami that, just my voice has changed your mind. And so she gives up that night. She says, okay, I am giving up this. She goes to Varanasi and then, just chants Rama, Rama. Anybody who sees her, she will say Rama. She lived in a boat, and apparently this is a real story. So, she lives in a boat and then gives up. One day she announces to the people. A lot of people, come and start seeing her because only thing she will say is Rama. And finally, she said, tomorrow, she called all the people. Tomorrow I am leaving. When that happens, just throw this body into the river. Don't do anything to it. And then she passes. So that was, the, her faith. The story is not so much on him, but just to see him and his faith, how it influences the other people. So that's the story I was reading.
Yes. Saira. Yeah.
Sairam. Now it's a story time. Everybody. This is a real story.
Yeah.
One Mr. Srinivasan, who is the All India Sai Center president. He always goes to Swami to um, get Swami's permission before he goes anywhere abroad. So one time he says, he goes to Swami and says that I have to go to New York. I have a meeting and I will be coming back. And Swami says, okay, on the way, after your meeting, go and see this person in some other country. Okay. And then this Srinivasan was waiting to hear more about, okay, see that person and do what? What should he say something? Should he do something? Should he take something? That's it. Swami said, go and see this person and then moved on to other people. So uh, he, it's so same thing. So he said, okay, no further instructions. So he went, he goes to US, he finishes this meeting. Then he goes all the way to another country, third country. And then when he goes there, this person is waiting with a placard or with his name. So he goes with him in his car. It's a big posh car. So he knows that this person must be very well-to-do person. He goes for 1 hour or 2 hours on the road and then takes him to a big mansion and then makes him sit on the foyer. And then there is dead silence. This person is the only two of them are there in total silence. Then this Srinivasan gets worried. Oh my God, where have I come? Am I doing the right thing? Did I understand Swami correctly? So all these things come. Then he asks the other person asks him, what did Swami tell you? What information have you got? He says, no, nothing. I don't have any information from Swami. Swami just asked me to come and see you. And that's all. That's the reason why I've come. So he couldn't believe that. So he kept asking several times. And then finally, after dead silence, he takes a revolver from his socks. Then Srinivasan is now afraid. Oh my God, what if he shoots me? Okay. Then he says, at that time when you called from the US, I was about to shoot myself. I had this gun. I had everything set. I was going to shoot myself. And then I got your call. And then you are going to come and see me. And that you are a Swami. Swami has sent you to come and see me. So he just waited. So the thing is, why I wanted to narrate this is that Srinivasan's faith. Okay. Total faith. Swami said, go and see him. That's all. So sometimes we may brush aside. Okay, Swami must have not meant it. Okay, it's some other country I have to go. I have to come to India. I have thousands of work. Okay, I have this lined up. I have to do all these things. Swami might not have meant it. So we would have brushed aside. So that faith, the total unconditional faith, is what we have to be looking for. That need not, in this case, it came straight from Swami's mouth. In our case, it may come through so many different ways. We have to be watchful of it and then have that faith. That I think that is very important.
Absolutely. So with that, Sairam, end of story time. We are now going to move along to these practices that we are talking about, because now we are also in our center trying to take on a sadhana, a spiritual practice for 100 days. Now, we should understand what sadhana is. And I think Swami said it so beautifully. So if one of you can just read this. Yeah, read now.
The meaning of spiritual practice, sadhana. What is meant by spiritual practice? Recitation of the name, meditation, devotional singing, yoga, good deeds. Do these constitute spiritual practice? Not at all. To transform bad into good is true spiritual practice. To turn sorrow into happiness is spiritual practice. Without grief, there is no joy. Good also cannot exist without bad. The world is an eternal battlefield where these jewels struggle against each other. Difficulties and peace are inextricably intertwined. One is the beginning, the other is the end. No one can separate them. Can the beginning exist without an end, or vice versa? Only God is beyond beginning and end. Everything worldly is compelled to start somewhere and end somewhere. Sorrow is not pushed upon us by someone else. Bad thoughts and misery are not thrust into our heads from outside. Bad and sorrow occur naturally. Even the most sacred object slips down to a detestable state without spiritual practice. However priceless it may be, its values diminishes without spiritual practice and without refinement. Suppose you find a raw diamond. Its value soars when you cut and polish it. Gold ore is mingled with soil and rock. After purification, it becomes precious. Spiritual practice transforms small into big, mean into lofty. No one is educated, knowledgeable, or virtuous at birth. Knowledge or character are obtained only by the dint of effort over several years.
Yeah, thank you. So I just wanted to bring across the main point of our sadhana that we are going to be taking up. Because since we are talking about faith, that should naturally lead into some kind of a spiritual practice for each one of us. And here Swami talks about how important that is, you know. So a few questions, just this is, you know, how does this perspective differ from traditional views, you know, of transforming bad into good? For example, the way the Swami explains these in various forms, you know, how can one actively apply this, you know, in our spiritual practice daily? Can we get away from sorrow? We just talked about how faith has to be so strong, and then of course understanding the duality that Swami is talking about. You know, if there is a personal story experience, we did talk about all of this just a little before, but just wanted to highlight a few things that sadhana is supposed to bring into our lives, you know, and then eventually the analogy of raw diamonds and unrefined gold that Swami emphasizes. How does this continuous learning and self-discipline contribute to our process? What is it that we are hoping for when we are taking up a sadhana today?
Sairam, first is, I mean, why this practice is important, right? Practice is, you can listen to so many things. One example I'll give is Vivekananda's example. When Vivekananda first goes to Ramakrishna, he has many, many questions. He'll always be asking him questions. You know, of course, everyone knows the famous question, did you see God? He'll say yes. He doesn't stop there, actually. He'll keep on questioning every time. How are you so sure? What is this? What is that? Ramakrishna tries to be very patient. He'll answer many times. And then finally, he says, he's asking too many questions. He's just asking questions, I'm answering, he's not getting it. Then he says, do one thing, you just stay here for 4 years with me, okay? Don't ask any more questions. Just stay here and do whatever I'm doing. Do the practice that I'm telling you to practice. Vivekananda says, okay. After 4 years of doing all the things that Ramakrishna teaches him, the meditation, the bhajans, all that practice, at the end of 4 years, he had no questions at all. No questions, because he practiced it. This is spirituality is an experiential thing. It is not a knowledge-based thing. You cannot grasp it by reading books, by listening, by seeing. It's just impossible. You have to, what that is the sadhana, is to do it yourself and experience it. There's no other way to do it.
That reminds me of another one in Vivekananda's life. He lost his father at an young age, and they're very kind of poor family. And he just came to Ramakrishna at that time. And his mother, his brother and sister are there. They don't have much money or anything to provide for the family. So he comes to Swami Ramakrishna and he says, can you help me? Can you give my family something, you know, they can sustain themselves? And he says, you talk to Kali all the time, your mother. Why don't you ask her? Vivekananda is telling Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna says, no, I'm not going to ask her these things. You can ask her. Go to the temple and ask. And Swami Vivekananda, he was Narendra at that time. He goes to the Kali temple. He sits there and meditates. He sees Ma Kali there. Once he sees her, he didn't ask her anything. He says, give me the realization, knowledge. That's all he is asking. He didn't ask anything for the family. He comes back. And Sri Ramakrishna says, did you ask Ma Kali for food? He says, no. Go and ask her again. So again, Swami Vivekananda goes, and it happens 3 times. None of the times he asked for any worldly things. So think about that. Even if we see God right now in front of us, what are we going to ask? One more house, one more car? What are we going to ask? No, God is there. If we have some idea of God, right? Then you give me. See, all these seem to be very trivial. What is the real thing? That is what we were going for. We have to realize.
That is, I mean, I'm just sharing my experience. I was in 11th grade, maybe. We used to go every year to Ma Vaishno Devi. And every time when you come out, my mother used to ask, what did you ask? I said, I forgot to ask. I just bowed my head and, just did the prayer and came out. And it's so true, tend to forget. I mean, I never made a list also, but every time we came out, we used to do. Those days there were no roads, there was all raw through the trails you had to go and all that. So much of actual physical this thing. But after going there, do the worship and come out. Oh, I forgot to ask. So that's just going for prayer is another big thing.
So yeah, so you wanted to add something? Okay. So I just wanted to bring across this because when we are going to be doing our sadhana, I think each one of us should think what you want to achieve for yourself during that sadhana, that practice that we are taking up. So if for people who have not heard this, we are actually taking up 100-day sadhana of chanting Gayatri mantra, knowing its significance and importance to our lives. So that will start 100 days before the retreat. So retreat is May 23rd, and we are going to start, I think, February 12th. We are starting February 12th, and there is a sign up sheet around. Please sign up, and we are going to have we are going to be chanting every day from February 12th from 9 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. And there will be a sign up sheet for who would want to lead during those days, and we will work through all of that. But please sign your name up if you would like to, so I can. So we will be creating another WhatsApp group to communicate this and have another channel. So please sign up if interested. So that was the reason that I had brought up sadhana. And yes, please go ahead. Does anyone have any? Yeah.
Sorry, did I cut you off?
No,
Sorry. Just now I got this thing. So in ancient days, the rishis and munis and everyone, their purpose of doing sadhana or practice or this thing is to attain moksha. So they don't want they don't want to reincarnate or reborn again. So for now, our purpose as a human beings, we don't have this option of doing practice or sadhana to attain moksha. But we can't. I mean, we don't know what happens next. But one thing we can do. One thing we can achieve by this sadhana is to bring our mind into stable state. So our mind, real moksha for us while we are alive is to bring our mind into stable state, because either our mind will go high or low. So when our mind is in high, we take wrong decisions. When our mind is in low, we take, it's not about decision, it's about lively routine that we live every day. So to live every day in a happy or a constant peaceful state, so we should bring our mind to tune our mind to 0th level, not minus or not to plus. So for that, practice or sadhana is so important in a way that we have to practice also know to be. So again, because there are some, I don't name anyone, but we can see people where they go to temple for that 1 hour, they do pujas and stuff and come home, and again they will worry and
the same.
So you have to, from morning, waking up at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock to night sleep, you have to continuously practice that sadhana. I mean, bhajans or namasmara, since we don't have time to gather every day. So Swami, that is why he said namasmarana, inner self of namasmarana, that you can do while you're in a meeting also. In that way, by doing that, we are not munis or yogis that, suddenly Lord Narayan appears, Swami can appear. But So it will happen. You can be an example for the next generation or next descendants of yours. That is important to this is what a practical moksha is, what I realize. And one more thing about faith, you have to consider faith as your body organ, which is not seeable. You can't see your heart, you can't see your mind, but they are with you. So that is the same thing. We have to maintain the faith also. So that's the thing I now remember. I'm recollecting everything. I want to put it in the right way. So yeah.
Very nice. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Sairam. Each one of us, because we are all not there yet, each one of us may have something or the other that we would like to overcome. Something that is not making us completely spiritual. There is some obstacle, something that we are attached to or attracted to. If we take this sadhana as an opportunity to change ourselves, that particular one, each one of us will know, only they will know what that is bothering, because others will not know. Even the spouse or the children may not know that. That if we take this as an opportunity to just change ourselves a little bit, even if not completely eliminate that challenge or that obstacle, at least reduce it to some extent and make this, as Swami says, I mean, if we take this, if we do that for 100 days, then I'm sure it will become a habit.
Correct.
So if it becomes a habit, and then we continue, even though our sadhana is for 100 days, but if we continue further on, I think that is the purpose of this sadhana.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we had done this kind of sadhanas before as well. This year we are getting this from the retreat committee and from the region. So with that, I think we should talk about Gayatri mantra. This is a discourse that Swami gave on the importance and what Gayatri means, the mantra in itself. Does anyone else want to read? Subhadra?
Gayatri is Sarva Devata Swarupini and Sarva Mantra Swarupini, embodiment of all gods and all mantras. It is said, Gayatri Chandasam Mata,
Chandasam Mata.
Chandasam Mata, Gayatri is the mother of the Vedas. There is no need to chant any other mantra if you chant the Gayatri mantra. Gayatri has three names, Gayatri, Savitri, and Saraswati. Gayantam Trayeti iti Gayatri. Trayate iti Gayatri. Gayatri protects the one who recites it. Gayatri is the master of the senses. Savitri is the presiding deity of the life principle. When Gayatri acts as the protector of life force, she is known as Savitri. You might have heard the story of Savitri, a woman of chastity who brought her dead husband, Satyavan, back to life with the power of a prayer. Savitri protects those who lead a life of Satya, truth. This is the inner meaning. Saraswati is the presiding deity of speech. Man has to earn the grace of Gayatri, Savitri, and Saraswati to sanctify his life. First and foremost, man has to purify his speech. Only then will his life be safe and secure. If you slip and fall, the injury can be cured, but the injury caused by the slip of the tongue is incurable. It will make your life miserable. So, you should have control over your speech. Excessive talk will lead to untruth and unpleasantness. That is why the ancient saints and seers used to observe silence. You can uphold truth and attain fame only by talking less. Limited talk will confer happiness. Excessive talk will put to grave dangers.
Gayatri, Savitri, and Saraswati are latent in everybody. Bhur, Bhuva, and Suvah in the Gayatri mantra refer to body, materialization, life force, vibration, and soul radiation. Bhur means Bhuloka, the earth, which is nothing but the combination of materials. This denotes the human body, which is also a combination of materials. Bhuva refers to the life force, which makes the body vibrate. Suva refers to Pragyana Shakti, it sustains the life force. This Pragyana Shakti is known as constant integrated awareness. This is also termed as radiation. All the three, namely materialization, vibration, and radiation, are present in man. I tell you often, you're not one, but three. The one you think you are, which is physical body, the one others think you are, mental body, and the one you really are, Atma.
Okay, Sairam, this is Swami explaining the Gayatri Mantra. The discourse goes on to the significance as well. But I cut it up until here because I don't think we'll have the time to go through that. We will definitely visit that in the next sessions. But so a few questions, or rather thoughts that I just put together as questions. What is the true spiritual practice as described in this passage? How does spiritual practice transform negativity to positivity? In what way can sorrow be turned into happiness through spiritual practice, which we just talked about? And why is this effort essential in refining one's character and knowledge? I thought that is the question that we can come to now, because we did talk about a lot of things, how it can, how the practice can transform us. We talked about how, what is the truth that is described in this passage, where Swami is talking about how a spiritual practice can refine us and define us. So now, what is coming down to what is the why is this sorry why is the effort essential in refining one's character and knowledge is something that I think we should all dwell upon, especially because he says Gayatri has three names: Gayatri, Savitri, and Saraswati. And I think knowing who those beings are is important in terms of understanding what we are also reciting. I know that very here the story of Savitri is given very it's just a little one liner, but truly that is a character that truly brings out the essence of spirituality in a lot of ways. Savitri, the way the story goes with her conversation with Yama. But again, so coming back to how does this refine one's character? Why is effort essential, first off, to refine our character?
Question is, why should we do this? First, answer that question. Why are you doing this? It's we should have faith. We should, but what is the reason we should do this? That is the question. If that the answer is clear, then everything else will fall into place.
Perfect. Yeah. So answer.
Why are we doing this, right? Because some people don't believe in all this and they're fine. You look at them, they're living the same life. They're eating, they're sleeping, they're enjoying, they're doing whatever. They have no faith that they will say, I don't believe in God, and they look fine to us. We're looking at them, they they seem to be fine. And why should we take this path of believing, practicing, spending our time? You could do many things with this time. I could be earning more money, going on whatever, right? Why am I choosing this? That is the bigger question. Once that is clear, I think for me, it's like whether you believe it or not, whether we believe it in this concept, is this life, this body, the mind, and what we see, is that it, or is there a next level to it? Atman. If you believe there is, then you have to find out how to realize it, because you're not seeing it, you have to perceive it. And these are different ways of getting there. If you believe that, then then you'll see, okay, how do I do it? First question is, do you believe it or not? If you do, then these are the paths of following. Again, same
That's
thing.
why we talked faith first.
I know, but I'm saying the whole thing falls into, like, why and how and all this. If you believe in why, then you will find out how to do it. Okay, the how to do it is all these spiritual practices, namasmarana, meditation, Gayatri mantra. There's so many mantras. So pick whatever works for you, you understand, you do it. And then that is how you reach to God, right? Otherwise, you'll be in this same world of Maya. So you need to know how to connect to God if that's what you want to do. There is
Yeah, see, here it says Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So it affects your physical body, mental, and then go to the spiritual, that Atman level. So in all three worlds, it is helping this particular mantra. We don't have to do anything. But in life, if you just every day is just to wake up, work, eat, sleep, if that is the life that gives you happiness, nobody will be here looking for some answers, right? No matter how much money one has, or power, or fame, are they all happy? They all individually, usually they look for some meaning in life. What gives meaning in life? For me, it is the spiritual path. This is not just the body, mind. I am beyond that. There is something else there. Then how do you go there? Then you take up some spiritual practices. We can travel all over the world. You can enjoy, eat in all fine restaurants, watch all the movies, wear all the fine clothes and jewelry. Ultimately, feel not very happy at the end of it. Only so much the physical body and mind can take. But when we go in a spiritual path and you go into the deeper meaning of life to understand what it is, then you take up some sadhana. Whatever is easy for us, whatever it can be done, we get peace of mind. Why we come here every week after week, and sit through a study circle or bhajan, what is there for us in it? There has to be something. Not everybody in Virginia Beach is sitting here, So each one has their own path. Eventually, all the rivers reach the ocean. One day it will happen. But if we want to speed up our process, like the banyan tree leaves that many birds, no, I don't want to take that many. Maybe I can take little less, or maybe, who knows? Or maybe it's the first leaf.
I
We
think
don't know.
that's the question. Like,
Right?
recently,
I know.
like recently there was one, I think Facebook post I saw about C.V. Raman. He's a Nobel laureate, mathematician, right? He didn't believe in God. Yeah, he will say there is no God, there is no life, there is no afterlife. This is the only life. Live this life how you. There are many people who believe that. Do you believe that or do you not? That the bifurcation happens right there. No problem. I mean, I'm just saying, when you believe that there is more than body, mind, there is an Atman, there is a self, there's a higher self that you want to realize, and that is the purpose of life, then all these things will come slowly. Effort is important. You can't just sit and say, I want to be, I want to be.
Yes.
We have to put the effort then. Yeah.
So when it comes to effort, Swami always said Namasmarana, right? He always said that is the easiest. Yeah, that is the easiest. Yes, please.
Yeah, so these are all sadhans for the sadhana, basically. As Shobhaji mentioned earlier, stay away from that company. You will get burnt. For sadhak, definitely we have to avoid that company. We have to avoid reading a lot of books, different types of books, different kinds of granthas we have to avoid. Follow what your guru says, just follow those texts, those books. Reading all those books will cause you confusion, will cause your faith to drop. That had been the biggest reason of we learning those Western culture things from the early childhood. We did not learn our own culture to the beginning. It causes the confusion. Writing on a clean board is so easy. Now we have to erase what we have read, then put the new imprint on.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
Only thing I want to say is, there are lots of people who made a lot of money and happy. And I don't think anyone reaches a point where say, I'm ultimately really happy.
Yeah.
I don't think the human condition
It's such.
that has
Yeah.
happened. So at some point of time, we are going to reach that point. What is this life all about? What am I here? And we are fortunate enough to, be at least guided there at, maybe not that young as I am, but, at least, you have a chance. So I think that's a good reason.
So I had the last question up here, and I don't know, we don't have enough time, but I actually wanted to talk about constant integrated awareness and what that means and what Swami means by that. He always says CIA. He's said it multiple times, and that should also connect to the Prajnana Shakti that he's talking about with the Gayatri mantra. We will go back into that next week because I know that we won't have time today. So I did not push into the details of this. And we will definitely discuss the power of Gayatri Mantra coming up in our future sessions. However, again, how does the spiritual practice, how should it differ from merely reciting the mantra?
So the constant integrated awareness, actually, Sri Aurobindo writes a lot about it. He actually brought it into a lot of attention by publishing a lot of books about it. But I think in just a short answer, even is being constantly in touch with God. That's exactly what it means. You're in awareness of yourself, your real self, not the body self, your real self, which is the Atman, which is the God within you. So how to get to that level, you have to suppress your mind activities a lot. The body activities you cannot. Your life has to go on. You just do that. But the mind activities is what will distract you all the time. Because it's traveling like so many thousands of miles. This thought, that thought, every thought will come. So that mind activity, you have to calm it down so that you are focusing that mind, because without the mind you cannot do it. You again need the mind for that awareness, okay, to focus to that awareness. That is what I understand, is that constantly your mind is trying to focus on being aware of your real self.
That itself, I'll take 1 minute,
Yeah.
is called Vikshepa. Buddhi is the cause of Vikshepa. And Vikshepa needs to be suppressed by cleansing the vessel. See, these are all modes of cleansing the vessel, basically. We are cleansing the same vessel in which that Amrit has to come. That's what it is. So all practices. So reciting mantras, there are all Bahirang sadhan and Antarang sadhan. These are Bahirang sadhans. Reciting mantras, yagnas.
Outwards.
Then
Yeah.
outward. Then coming the Antarang sadhan.
Yeah.
That is the steps. So keep following the steps. Will all lead to the same.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have anything to add? I just wanted to, this is going to take about 3 minutes, but we will, about 2 minutes something. So this is the Swami's way of actually chanting Gayatri Mantra. We will be listening to it through the session, moving on from today, just to make sure that we are, chanting it. When we chant it, we can chant it this way. Yes, Saira.
भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्
Let's end the session today with Om and three Shantis. This video will be shared on our WhatsApp group as well, so that everyone can, listen to it at least. If you're chanting, that's an additional benefit. Om Shant Shant Shanti. Sai Ram, thank you all for participating today.